Tonight's talk is on 9/11, as you can see. And it's been given by Lee Bruberg, and without any more ado, I shall hand you over to Lee.
Thanks for that. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah? Good, good. Yeah, my name's Lee Woodberg. I'm here to do the talk about 9/11. Do you believe in magic? It's the occult significance of 9/11. There's been a lot of theories about 9/11. Obviously, you've got the main body of what people would call conspiracy theories. You know, thermite, no planes, all that, etc. And you've got the official story as well, which is the biggest conspiracy, some would say, biggest conspiracy theory. What I don't think has been touched on before, and what I'm hoping to do tonight, is to just have a look at some of the occult significance around it. I'll get into that in just a second. First of all, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone for putting this together and providing the equipment, and you know, we've got there eventually with it, and I think it's going to be okay. So anyway, 9/11, do you believe in magic? A little bit about how I got into the occult. It started when I was about 16, 17-ish, and I first came across a book entitled The Ancient Wisdom. I saw this on a book market when I was about 16, 17, and the first thing I saw was the image on the front of it, and I just thought, what is that? What is it? It's grotesque, it's bizarre, and so I decided to look more into it, and I bought the book and read it, and didn't really understand it very much. It's full of riddles and goes into numerology, astrology, ancient myths and how they all connect. I understood a bit of it, but a lot of it was over my head. I was quite young, but you know, I was still intrigued by the picture on the front there, and thought, well, they're obviously the planets. Maybe I should have a little bit of a look at astrology. So I then went to the library and found what I thought was the best book about astrology, which was this, by Julia and Derek Parker, and had a little look at that. Still didn't understand, you know, all of it, but it goes into the myths and the interpretations of the signs and the planets and what they all stand for. And there's a big ephemeris in the back, and ephemeris is a star chart which takes you through where all the planets are, year by year, day by day. And the one in the back of this book went from 1900 to 2000, so there's 100 years worth of star charts there. So anyway, I read that and kind of didn't really understand a great deal of it, and put it aside for a bit as a, you know, just to get on with the rest of my life, really. And but you know, kept dipping into the occult, and you know, used it as a kind of hobby. So that's the kind of background I have in the occult for now. Just a little bit of a background about astrology. Astrology, what the first kind of origins of it, you can see in Egypt. This is the Dendera. You can find this at one of the temples in Egypt. The Egyptians kind of believed that, you know, the gods and goddesses were imbued in the night sky, and this is one of the early kind of depictions of the night sky in terms of astrology there. This is one from a 6th century Jewish synagogue. So you can see it permeating all different kinds of cultures and religions through the ages. Obviously there's a little bit sort of missing there, that's just through sort of wear and tear. So how do we get from the night sky, as we see with all the constellations and everything, to the modern day interpretation of the zodiac? Well, first of all, what you've got to kind of understand is that it's to do with this figure here, which is the ecliptic. The ecliptic is the apparent path of the sun as seen from the earth. So if you imagine, as the sun orbits the earth there, that sort of red line, the outer red line. The constellations around that red line, 12 of them in all. Some say there were 13, and that's another talk. But 12 in all kind of constitute the ecliptic. Just to make that a little bit clearer, just want to play this video. There might be problems with sound, but we'll try our best trying to get it projected to you. Won't take too long. Just doesn't matter too much about the sound for this one for now, but you can see that this is the apparent path of the Sun as seen from the Earth. The 12 major constellations are engaged in that. This is more of an elaborate model where you can see the planets moving around this ecliptic. The little coloured bits in the middle are aspects of the sort of degrees that the planets make to each other, and they kind of have meaning. It's a little bit too in depth to go into at the moment, but for now, if you kind of understand the general picture of this ecliptic with the 12 signs on it, I'll just go back to the pictures here. Not too long. Okay, so from the ecliptic we get this kind of diagram with the 12 signs, the constellations in the middle there, and obviously some of them are men or women, animals. There's a lot of history behind that. I don't have time to go into that, but that's the kind of basis that we're working with tonight. Just a little bit more about the Dendera. The Egyptians believed that they could channel their energies, the energies of the gods and goddesses in the sky down towards the earth. A lot of people have talked about that, Graham Hancock, Robert Bauval, and just a little bit more about their work. Robert Bauval, one of the Egyptologists there, he kind of figured out that the Orion's belt, the 3 stars in the middle of this diagram, correspond to... Oh, it's upside down. How did that happen? Never mind. Well, you can kind of see the meaning there. You've got sort of Orion's belt in the middle of Orion there at the top, being channeled into the pyramids at the bottom. And it's this kind of as above, so below perspective that we're talking about tonight, where the Egyptians saw Orion's belt in the sky and thought they could channel the energies down into the earth, and they created the 3 pyramids to kind of reflect the sky into the earth. Obviously you've got that kind of ancient origin of astrology. This is a kind of modern day astrology where it's been largely relegated to the ranks of superstition. You know, people kind of glance at the horoscopes for fun. I'm a Capricorn, ooh, what does my horoscope say today? You know, I mean, this is kind of minimal astrology. It's about where your sun is when you're born in the sky and what sign that is. Obviously astrology is a lot more in depth than that. They use all of the planets in the night sky. Obviously you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, right round to Pluto. I know Pluto was demoted recently, but astrologers still use that. So if you remember that video about the ecliptic, all of the planets that are travelling around that apparent path of the Sun seen from the Earth, they're all sort of integral to astrological readings. It's this kind of astrology that uses all the planets that's used in something like the Golden Dawn, the Secret Society. Now this is the symbol of the Golden Dawn. It's got complex occult symbolism, which I don't fully understand. But you can see the 6-pointed star at the bottom there. Well, sort of in the middle, underneath the sort of blue at the centre of the cross. You've got the 7 planets within that 6-pointed star. You've got the Sun in the centre, and then Mercury, Venus, the Moon, Saturn, Jupiter and Mars. They're obviously the 7 traditional celestial bodies that were used before the other 3, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto, were discovered, you know, some hundreds of years later. But it's that kind of high occult astrology that is encoded in this diagram, which is the symbol of the Golden Dawn, and that was started